Lachchuki. Catrina, widely known as Lachchuki, gained fame as one of the few women publicly linked to the Cartel del Golfo. People in Reynosa knew who she was, a city with a lot of cartel crime. Unlike many who worked in the shadows, she posted her life on social media, sharing photos of herself with weapons, tactical gear, and luxury vehicles. Lachchuki had ties to cartels in Reynosa and San Fernando for years, and she was believed to have operated as a lookout and took part in the group's violent activities. At a time, she even faked her own death in 2019 to escape capture, only to show up again later, proving she was still active. On the afternoon of November 7th, 2025, that life of violent fighting came to a deadly end. State security forces from the Guardia Estatal de Tamaulipas were conducting a routine patrol along the Tam Santo Domingo Road in Reynosa, an area where criminal activity is regularly reported. During their surveillance, they spotted a GMC Sierra pickup truck that had been reported stolen. The officers then signaled the truck to stop, but instead of pulling over, Lachchuki and 4 other men that were inside the vehicle opened fire on the officers. The security forces reacted back by returning fire and forcing the truck to lose control and crash into a concrete post. The firefight did not end with the crash. A second exchange of gunfire broke out between the cartel group and the officers. By the time the shooting stopped, 5 suspected cartel members lay dead, including Catrina Lachchuki. La Felina. Maria del Rosario Fuentes Rubio, known online as La Felina, worked in northeastern Mexico, an area where Los Zetas and other cartels were fighting for control. While other cartel members used guns and violence, La Felina used information and fear. She ran anonymous social media accounts that shared cartel messages. These posts included threats, warnings, and messages connected to Los Zetas. Her posts talked about violence, rival groups, and who was in control. This made people afraid and kept them quiet. In places like this, staying silent could mean staying alive. Over time, La Felina became well known in online cartel circles. But in the early 2000s, cartels began to see the internet as a threat. People who posted about cartels online, bloggers, forum users, and anonymous accounts were being found, kidnapped, and this happened whether they spoke against cartels or supported them. By then, it was clear that being anonymous online no longer kept people safe. By 2014, La Felina had posted too much to stay hidden. Later that year, after finishing her shift around midday, she was leaving the Tierra Santa Clinic in Reynosa, Tamaulipas, where she worked as a doctor, when armed men grabbed her and forced her into waiting vehicles and kidnapped by a rival cartel group. After taking her, they forced her to post messages online using her real name. In these messages, she apologized and warned others not to post or talk about cartel activity. The message was meant to be seen by everyone. Soon after her kidnapping, La Felina was with images and messages from her death shared online to intimidate others. La Flaca. Jocelyn Alejandra Niño, better known as La Flaca, grew up around the violent turf wars near the U.S.-Mexico border, and over time, she was believed to be a hit woman for the Gulf Cartel, specifically within the group called Los Chiclones. After years of conflict within the organization, the Gulf Cartel fell apart into rival groups. 2 of those groups, Los Ciclones and Los Metros, soon turned on each other, fighting for control of key territory around Rio Bravo and Matamoros. Unlike many cartel gunmen who tried to stay hidden, Jocelyn caught people's attention early in 2015 when a photo of her holding a rifle and wearing protective gear was leaked online. In the picture, she was smiling, wearing a bulletproof vest and sunglasses. Her unique Niño tattoo on her forearm was visible, a crucial detail that later helped confirm who she was. The photo was shared everywhere on social media and by citizen journalist pages like Valor por Tamaulipas, partly because it showed that cartels were now using young women as hitmen, who were seen as less suspicious than men. Being so well known now made her a target. In the spring of that year, northeastern Tamaulipas, especially around the border cities of Matamoros, Rio Bravo, and Reynosa, was torn by a bloody battle between rival Gulf cartel groups Los Ciclones and Los Metros. Each group was fighting for control over profitable border smuggling routes. Rio Bravo, where La Flaca worked, was mostly controlled by Los Metros, making it very dangerous for anyone connected to Los Ciclones. The photo of her spread across social media, exposing her identity not just to followers but also to the enemies she fought against. By April 2015, Los Metros caught La Flaca and 2 friends during the battle at their home base. What happened next was brutal. On April 13, 2015, Mexican authorities found her body cut into inside an ice cooler abandoned in a Soriana shopping center parking lot in Matamoros, Tamaulipas, close to the international bridge leading into Brownsville in Texas. Her body showed visible signs of torture, suggesting her killers had tried to get information out of her or make her suffering part of their warning. Investigators recognized her from that distinctive Niño tattoo on her forearm, confirming it was her in spite of the gruesome condition of the remains. She wasn't alone. 2 other bodies, 1 male and 1 female, believed to be fellow Los Ciclones members, were found with her, also dead. Later, the photos of the bodies were posted online by Los Metros, along with a written message saying they did it and teasing their enemies, warning that this will happen to all the filthy who support Los Ciclones. Keep sending these fucking assholes. Signed by a Los Metros member known as 65. The message also mocked Los Ciclones for using female foot soldiers, emphasizing that even women fighting for them wouldn't be spared. El Güero's wife, Guadalupe Leja Serrano, often called Lupita, was married to Hector El Güero Palma Salazar, a major figure who helped build what became the Sinaloa cartel alongside Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. While El Güero lived the violent life of narcotraffic, Lupita lived on the edge of that world, a world where alliances and betrayals could change everything. In the late 1980s, the big cartel federation led by Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo began to fracture. Internal conflicts and power struggles created violent clashes between former allies. Into that chaos stepped a Venezuelan trafficker named Enrique Rafael Clavel Moreno, a man with experience in cartel circles. Enrique didn't attack through violence at first. He used deception. He approached Lupita and slowly gained her trust. He convinced her that a new life was possible, that she could leave her husband and escape the violence of this world. Convinced by his words, and with promises of love and safety, Lupita agreed to leave El Güero with her 2 young children. Enrique took them first to San Francisco, California. Once there, he convinced her to access millions of dollars from one of El Güero bank accounts. He manipulated her, claiming it was part of starting a new life together. But the plan was far more menacing. Once Lupita had taken the money, Enrique turned on her. In the United States, he murdered her brutally. According to reports, he slit her throat open, ending her life. He didn't leave it at that. Enrique sent Lupita's severed head back to El Güero. Some reports say in a cooler or a box mailed to him as a message, showing him exactly what he had done. But the horror wasn't over. Enrique took Lupita's 2 young children, Jesus, about 5, and Natalie, about 4, and carried them with him to Venezuela. Once there, he took the children to a high bridge over the river at Puente de la Concordia near San Cristobal and threw them off the bridge to their deaths. At some point after the murders, he was arrested reportedly for the murder of El Güero's children and other crimes and was sent to prison. When El Güero found out what had happened, his response was ruthless. He launched his own violent revenge against Enrique and those connected with him by having Enrique's 3 sons killed. Later, while Enrique was in prison, he was stabbed and murdered by other inmates on El Güero's orders. La Catrina. Maria Guadalupe Lopez Esquivel, better known as La Catrina, started working directly with the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, taking on important jobs instead of just minor ones. Unlike most women who only helped with things like planning or moving supplies, La Catrina actually carried guns, took part in attacks, and helped fight rival gangs. Photos and videos later shared online showing her carrying rifles, wearing tactical gear, and posing alongside other armed cartel members, images used to intimidate others and show power. Her nickname, La Catrina, was not accidental. It reflected the violent reputation she built both within the cartel and among rival groups. Authorities later found out she took part in armed patrols, helped enforce rules, and joined attacks, showing she was trusted to be on the front lines. When the police hunted her group, Catrina was armed and well known, making her a top target. When authorities finally located the safe house where she was hiding with other CJNG members, they moved in with a coordinated operation involving police and military units. As security forces approached and announced themselves, gunfire erupted from inside the location. Catrina and the others opened fire, and a full shootout broke out. Officers returned fire while advancing, taking cover as bullets flew in both directions. During the exchange, Catrina was struck by a bullet to the neck. The wound was severe. She did not die instantly, but the injury caused heavy bleeding and critical damage. Even after being hit, the fight continued around her until the area was secured. Once the shooting stopped, officers found her badly wounded. She was removed from the scene and efforts were made to get her medical help. However, the injury was too serious. She died shortly afterward from the gunshot wound and blood loss sustained during the firefight.